Hello, everyone. No intro today. I thought I would just dive right in because we're talking about a really cool topic. So I'm going to give some time for people to join us, but we're talking about the amazing opportunity that there is right now on YouTube. And I have some crazy stories to share with you. And I actually have a guest, Rob Jones, who's going to be joining us as well. And he's got even more crazy stories. But I can tell you right now that, uh, in my day to day, I can't tell you how many people I talk to who are telling me that they're struggling to get Facebook to work anywhere near as well as it was working before the iOS update. And every person that tells me this, I'm like, why don't you just pause on Facebook and get your ass over to YouTube and start advertising on YouTube? Because it's easier to scale, it's easier to be profitable, and you're going to hear some more stories about YouTube that'll pretty much blow your mind. So let's see here as we kind of get up and running here. Hold on, I'm just going to let me remove that. I'm just removing something so that it is telling me that we're broadcasting live on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and in Periscope, although I'm not sure why we're on Periscope. And obviously, as always, let's try and make this as much of a dialogue and as little of a monologue. We have a real expert with us today, Rob Jones, and it's an opportunity to get your questions answered on how to make YouTube work for you. Now, the reason we have Rob joining us, and I just want to be transparent about this up front. There is a launch coming up, and the launch is on a program called Profit Singularity. And what Profit Singularity is all about is showing people how to make a significant amount of money each and every day, like $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day, as much as $50,000 a day, and even some people making more, by really just taking advantage of the fact of that advertising on YouTube is so inexpensive for what it is right now. And so as we progress in this live stream, we'll have Rob kind of explain what Profit Singularity is. But what the reason why I'm doing a live stream where I'm also talking about a launch that's coming up is because, in my opinion, this launch proves everything that I've been telling people for the last couple months about getting on YouTube, that you need to be on YouTube. In fact, more and more, and this might even sound crazy to say, but I think that YouTube is on an upward trend, like a significant upward trend. I think in 2 or 3 years from now, the amount of traffic YouTube has compared to Facebook or Instagram or anything else is going to be dramatically different than it is today. So with all of that said, I want to get Rob up here so he can say hello to everyone. And then we are just going to get into it. So I really hope that you bring your best YouTube questions. Don't make me look stupid in front of Rob. That would be embarrassing. And let's have Rob join us. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rich. How you doing?
Pretty good. So, we're going to be talking about YouTube, Profit Singularity, and, some of the tips and strategies that you can share, without giving away the store, so to speak. But I'm curious, because you mentioned it when we were talking off air, what were you doing before you were doing this?
Facebook. We've been doing Facebook for the last, really heavily for the last 5 to 7 years.
Oh, wow. But what were you specifically doing? What?
Oh, so we've had a training program. So my partner has just been really, really good with Facebook ads. And he's been really good with, our students for the past several years have been at the top of ClickBank. They've been super affiliates. We've basically been training ordinary people how to become super affiliates using Facebook ads. And so it's really big money on it was really big money on Facebook, and we've been doing that for years. But of course, Facebook has a lot of issues nowadays, ad accounts, and even keeping an ad account open is difficult, even if you have a totally normal business with, but basically my role has been, I'm CEO of our company. So I manage, operations, and I manage strategy and stuff like that. And I do copywriting for the company, that kind of stuff.
And so because the reason I bring up all of this is because like right before we got on air, you were saying like, yeah, you just went into this like trial, like, and to just do like the lazy man's approach. So like, we got to go all the way backwards in time and talk about, well, what trial and what are we talking about and all that. And so like, that's why, like, do you consider yourself a marketer? Do you consider yourself a, like, you know, a more admin, controller, financial guy? Like, who are you?
I'd say my strengths are like strategy, like business strategy and
Mm-hmm.
copywriting.
Shot.
And then I end up taking care of a lot of other stuff too, but those are probably my biggest strengths. But I'm not really the traffic guy. So we came into this and we had a student who was really doing well on YouTube. We heard these stories. And so we wanted to dig in and figure it out. And so we created what we called a power sell. It's like a terminology that my business partner uses. And so we wanted to test it and see if other students could do the same, have the same sort of results. So we got a bunch of people who were relatively new and stuck them in there, and then had the other guy who was having these really huge results on YouTube, let him kind of guide the group and then see what happens, see how it, you know, what kind of experience they have and if it works for them. And I went in and did it as well myself. And like I said, I'm not usually the traffic guy. So my approach was, I wanted to see what was kind of like the 80-20 approach. So whatever they were doing, like there's one guy in the group who went all out. He's like hyper achiever. And he did $1.5 million in the last 90 days. I knew he kind of had that side covered. But I want to see, like, if you're not like a hyper achiever, if you're going to go in and I've always like focused on efficiency and working myself out of having a job. You know, that's why I got into internet marketing, create some kind of systems so that, you know, and so I was trying to figure out what's the 80-20 approach. You know, I got into all this stuff after reading the 4-Hour Work Week. So it's always been like create that kind of freedom lifestyle and not create like a really difficult job for yourself. And so that's what I was trying to do. So I was following their method.
Like, so the student that was having this great success that you guys wanted to, like, you know, dive a little bit more into, like, what kind of success, and can you talk about that at all? Or
yeah,
no?
so I mean, obviously it was on YouTube. So the thing that really caught my attention was, I mean, we've been hearing about YouTube for years, but we'd never shifted over because YouTube it seems like it's more difficult, right? It seems like you got to because of video, you got to make video, you got to be on video, you need to, you know, be good on video. And I never really liked getting on video, you know, and there's a lot of production value. So I didn't want to get involved in that stuff. But we heard about this guy that was doing it with like robot voices. And that's the thing that caught my attention. They showed me a snippet of the video, and you can literally hear the voice. It sounded like, and if maybe you would do this thing. Like it sounded so obviously like a robot. And this guy was the guy who was making his results on ClickBank. He was promoting offers on ClickBank, and his screenshot of the day that he scaled up just went like this up to $31,000. And that was the thing that caught my attention. I was like, whoa, what is this? There's no way you can make money using robot voices. And so that's when we started to have the conversation. And so the guy's name that figured out this system is Keegan. And then he had shown this guy Ilio, and Ilio is an immigrant from his family immigrated from Afghanistan, like maybe 20 years ago, you know, so like the timing was interesting. And so we started talking to Keegan, and then we decided, okay, let's do this group. And for me, it was like, I want to test this out and see if this works. And so I started digging in, and everybody started digging in, and it turns out that these computer generated voices, and now with the emergence of AI technology, it's gotten better and better and better. And this guy was using these really robotic sounding voices, but because YouTube is so good at like optimizing ads, and because the competition is low and there's so much traffic, and it's grown like crazy since all of the pandemic. You know, YouTube is the #2 website in the world, just only behind Google. I believe their ad revenue has doubled in the last year. That's what I was reading on an article just now. And it's like the opportunity is really there, to the point where even an ad with a robot voice could work, because the messaging was in there. And so we started digging in, and we found AI voices that are really good. We don't use the weird robotic voice. But that's what caught my attention. And so we all started digging in and playing around with this and seeing, I wanted to see if we could really simplify the system. And Keegan's just so good at this stuff. He's been doing it for like 8 months, I believe, 8 or 9 months. And in the beginning, he was, doing it the hard way. He was making the videos himself. He was hiring voiceover artists. He was trying to figure out video software. And it was only when Ilio came along and said, well, maybe, because Ilio's English, his original language was Russian. And then I think English was his third language, So he moved from Afghanistan as a child to I think it was like Uzbekistan. I might have gotten that wrong. But he was in the middle of a war-torn country as a child, and then he was able to immigrate to the United States thanks to a UN refugee program. And so he came through this difficult upbringing. But he came in and he didn't want to be on video. He didn't want to have his voice and his face on video. And so he's just using these robot voices, and it worked. And that was like the big aha moment for Keegan, And then when Keegan came to our group, we started trying to play around with these tools that make it really, really easy to make videos now, where you don't need to record. You don't need a microphone. You don't need like video you don't need to download video software, and it's not expensive or anything. So
yeah. So just for those that have joined us, what we're talking about on this live stream is we're talking about YouTube and the opportunities on YouTube. And this runs parallel to a launch that's coming up, which is showing people how to make money as an affiliate with advertising on YouTube. And I want to be very clear about that for a second so that you can fully comprehend the opportunity that's on YouTube right now. So what Rob is talking about is that there are people in this group, himself included, right? But there are people who are making 30 grand a day, 50 grand a day profit, selling the front end of someone else's, getting only like 50% of the sale. So getting half of the sale, and yet being able to have a return on ad spend of like 200%. So them getting half of the sale is double what they're spending to get the traffic to buy that sale. So they're generating double in sales what they're making, right? But that's the opportunity, right? That you can, it's insane, right? Most people have a hard time getting a customer at break even, let alone getting a customer and profiting from it, let alone getting a scalable amount of customers for someone else's product and being successful at it with, just as an affiliate. Now, like, that was not possible, like, according to Rob and to a bunch of other people, that wasn't possible a year and a half or 2 years ago. Like, the AI, like, for placement for YouTube wasn't where it is today, right? There wasn't very many solutions to have ads made that, like, video ads where they were good enough to get the job done, where you didn't have to really get involved in, shooting it or doing a bunch of things yourself. So the opportunity is so powerful that even only getting half of what someone spends on only the first sale, you can still make crazy money doing that, which means that, like, if you have your own business and you're selling something where you're not giving away half on the front end, that the opportunity is that much more righteous for you to be on YouTube. And so I can't think of any way to prove that, like, the single place where you should be spending your advertising dollars right now is on YouTube than this. And so, yeah. So Rob, like, were you skeptical getting into this, or did you kind of believe it? It's within your company, so I would assume you weren't that skeptical, but maybe you were. And, like, can you kind of, like, walk through the entire, like, your experience? Because I think it would be kind of cool to kind of hear that.
The thing that I was skeptical about was if the kind of videos that were these generated videos that are not well produced, if they could actually convert. That's the thing that I was really skeptical about. I'd seen the results, and I have several marketing friends who have done really well on YouTube in the past few years, and everybody's, there's been a handful of people that have been like really pushing YouTube hard for the past few years. So I believe the traffic was there, but the thing that really needed to be proven to me was that these kind of videos would work. But the scale is crazy. So like one of the issues on Facebook that we've always had over the years is when you have something working, how do you scale? And we've had a number of strategies. Like you can't just turn up the dial on Facebook. I mean, it doesn't, your ROI can just crash. And so what we've done is we've done horizontal scaling where you duplicate your ad sets, or you even have multiple ad accounts. You're running the same ads in different ad accounts, and an ad account may have a max of like $5,000 per day or something, and you have to build that up over time, and that can be difficult depending on your niche. In Google, it's not like that. Like you're running an ad, and they will have a little thing that comes up, a little notification that says your ad is limited by budget, and you click on it, and it says we recommend that you triple your budget, and you're like, what? And so it's almost like an attack on your manhood, right? It's like, come on, is that all you can afford to spend? And so like the funny thing is, if you take the recommendation, then your ad will run for a day or two, and then it will say limited by budget. And I thought like I just assume, I think this thing is from the marketing department. It's not from the optimization department. Yeah, I think it's a different group, because I think no matter what budget you're at, after a day or two, it's going to say triple your budget. I was at $20,000 and it recommended I'd triple it to $60,000 per day budget. Right. And so there's no problem with spending these huge budgets. So that's a big difference between Facebook and Google and YouTube, Google ads. YouTube is Google ads, by the way, for those people who aren't familiar. It's literally scaling. All you have to do is turn up the budget. And obviously you have to, figure out what speed you can do that at. But there's like so much traffic out there, and they're so good at optimizing it for you when you set things up the right way in your campaigns.
Right. And you guys are doing and like run of network, right? You're not doing like, you're telling YouTube, find the people that are going to buy this thing. You're not like targeting specific channels or doing anything like that, are you? I mean, I'm asking.
We haven't. I mean, you can get into all kinds of there's like so many targeting options on Google Ads, but we don't really use the majority of them. We focus on broad traffic, just demographic targeting. So we're picking, male, female, age range, location. So we'll pick countries. We're targeting offers that promote that convert to broad audiences. So weight loss, dental, vision, things that are that you can have a mass market. And then we're giving Google a target. So they have campaigns that are called target CPA, and so it's like, this is how much I want to pay for a customer. Maybe I want to pay for customers is $50 or $30 or something. And then Google will try to optimize the traffic for you. It will go find the pockets. And Google just has, everything is Google nowadays. Google, everybody uses Chrome browser. Everybody, half the planet has Androids. Google's integrated with different things. And so they have so much data, and they record everything. Like if you go search on Google, all of your searches are recorded in some database somewhere. And so they have all these data points. And so they're super precise at targeting now. They could pick this. I think it's so easy for them to find the people that are interested, and there's all kinds of conspiracy theories where I'm sitting there with my buddy and I'm talking about some topic, and then I go and I see an ad about that topic, right after. Like that stuff benefits us as marketers. It's like the technology is there to hyper target stuff. And the interesting thing is, so Google has like machine learning that will figure out, like it'll say it's in the learning phase, and it has their algorithms, their AI algorithms, figuring out where to get the traffic. And what might happen, because I just played around with budgets and stuff, and when I found a winning video ad, I might have a day where it goes really slowly, and I think Google is like calibrating, because it'll only send me like a trickle of traffic, but it converts like crazy. Like it's like going into sniper mode. Like it's like, we're just going to test and see if we've got the right targeting. We're going to just like pew, pew, pew. And suddenly I've got like 300% ROI or something with a tiny amount of traffic. And it'll do that for a day or two. And then it goes, okay, we're good. And then it ramps it up. Because in their terms, if you set your daily budget, they actually call it, I forget the term they call it, but it's basically average daily budget, right? And they say it can spend a lot lower, or it can spend up to double your daily budget. So if you have $1,000 daily budget, it will spend up to $2,000. And you might have a day that's low, but over 30 days, it will average out to $1,000 a day. And so it has these like calibration days where I swear to God, it just feels like a sniper just picking off customers for you. And then once it's dialed in, like I think Google, if they wanted to, they could just send you like 80% conversions or something if they wanted. You know, they're that good.
Right. And all right. So first off, like I've seen a couple comments that about freezing. Like it looks fine on our end, but like we have Katya who's saying Facebook is freezing or pausing, and I see another one here that says the live stream is pausing every once in a while. If you are watching on YouTube, let me know if you're seeing the pausing and freezing as well, because if you're not, maybe if you're watching this on Facebook, you might want to run over to YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is just fine, supposedly. Oh, who knows? What a coincidence that we're talking about how Facebook is not a great place to advertise as well as it used to be. And all of a sudden, our stream, which seems totally fine, it's being piped into different platforms, seems to be doing fine in YouTube, but not on Facebook. What would be the odds of that? Probably pretty high in this day and age. But anyway, so for those just joining us late, we're talking about the great opportunity that there is on YouTube. And proof of that opportunity is the fact that there is this program that's being launched very soon. They've been in beta for a while. And in this beta group, I think they have how many people? Like 40? Is there like 40 people?
No, it's 15.
Yeah. 15. Okay, so 15 people in it, all of whom, every single one, right?
Oh, yeah. I think the minimum...
Considerable
the minimum profit per day has been the lowest one is $500 profit per day.
The lowest has been $500 profit per day.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Cool. So we are doing a webinar. I believe we're doing a webinar, and to register for that webinar, where they're going to go into like the whole thing about it. I'm just going to put this link below us here at strategicprofits.com/YouTube. And it's where you can, I'm just going to check it myself. I believe it's where you can register for the actual webinar. And I'm just pulling it up myself. And then we're going to look at some of the questions that people have asked. And so if you have a question, it will redirect to Profit Singularity. And it says, yes, reserve my spot during the free workshop. Cool. So let me go to the comments here and let's see here. All right. So Matt shared this. So thank you, Matt. You're our hero. And anyone who shares it, please put hashtag shared so that we know to personally thank you. Zookbook has me going to IG and YouTube. Yep. Hello from Bogota, Colombia. Hello, Paula. Hello, Christine Burke. Christine Burke. Isn't Christine Burke the lead singer of the Chainsmokers? Isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Wow, we have a celebrity in the house. If it is that, I'm just pulling it up to see if it is. Yeah, Christine Burke. War famous model or something. Yeah, anyway. Don't know if it's the same, but we are honored if it is. Dr. Vogelman still gets viewers from Periscope too. Strange, isn't it? Can't wait for Infinite Fun tomorrow. Yeah, me neither. I'm excited for you guys to see it. Oh wow, the famous Christine Burke is saying hello to you, Rob. So there you go.
Hi, Christine.
Just for fun, you might want to type in Christine Burke in Google to see what I see. because you might want to say hello back. Martin from Honolulu, Hawaii. Good to see you, Martin. Cameron, what do you think about rehashing the same content message in videos with different front end leads? Cameron, what are you talking about? Are you talking about as in an organic channel? I would assume that's what you're talking about, but clarify, and then maybe we'll get to that. Dr. Vogelman, is there any great value to creating YouTube Shorts? I have not seen the same amount of engagement as on Instagram and TikTok. I heard it was good, and then I've heard it wasn't, but I don't know enough, and I would imagine Rob doesn't know that area that well. But do you? I would imagine you don't, since that's not really.
I don't know. We just focus on ads. The last question, though, if he was referring to ads, then the answer is yes. If you're running an ad, you can, like most of the ad, if you find an ad that works, you can just test the first 15 seconds, and that can give you big boosts.
Change it if it's not working, you mean?
Well, we'll have like more or less a formula for the ad script, and then the first couple of sentences, the lead, you test different leads, and that's the thing that'll, because you're trying to get past that first 5 seconds where you could skip the video ad,
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I don't think so. I think the answer here would be no. Would YouTube Shorts be a good way of creating video ads?
I'm not really familiar. Are YouTube Shorts kind of like TikTok?
Yeah, they're like 15-second. Did the feed die? It might have on Facebook, but not on. Right now we have. Yeah, right now we have about 60 people watching on YouTube, and we have about 30 people watching on Facebook. So maybe the numbers will change. Hello, Renan in Brazil. Good to see you. Is this YouTube ads rather than free organic, or both? This is YouTube ads. This is about like they're running a business. They're in the business of buying traffic from YouTube for significantly less than that traffic is worth at ClickBank or at another affiliate place. And so they're arbitraging the traffic, basically, is one way of looking at it, at least. Cameroon, I'm advertising on YouTube ads profitably as an affiliate. It's on fire right now. Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
That's what Rob and his group at Profit Singularity are doing. Do you have to have 50K users to monetize? No, this has nothing to do with monetization. This has to do with advertising and making affiliate commission. But my point in sharing all this with you guys is like that this platform is exploding. Like if you're going to create organic content, put the organic content on YouTube. That's where all the eyeballs are. But if you're trying to be an affiliate, then this area right now is a righteous opportunity to make a lot of money and learn the platform at the same time. Like there's a reason, right? Like when I first started, I used Front Page. I wasn't even advanced enough to use Dreamweaver. And like I was an affiliate for a lot of different baby products because I was selling ebooks in the baby niche. And so it was a lot easier to find traffic for, a baby monitor, a crib, a stroller, because everyone who has a baby buys that stuff. And then as soon as I sold any one of those physical products as an affiliate, I now had a buyer, and I had someone who could potentially buy all 25 of the ebooks that my company sold, right? And so we used affiliate like marketing to acquire new customers for our own products because there were so many more people buying physical type of products. And here it's the same thing. Here you can learn how to like run effective YouTube ads by selling other people's stuff. And as you get good, start selling your own stuff. And I wanted Rob to be here because Rob is actually doing it. I'm not. And so therefore, I can talk about it theoretically, but Rob can talk about it in reality. And so we definitely want him doing that. What were you gonna say, Rob?
With your example, where you're selling baby ebooks or baby products, if you're trying to do that on Facebook, you have to use interest targeting. And so you have to try to find somebody, okay, it's a new mother, or you have to try to find somebody that's interested in baby, whatever. And it's kind of vague and abstract. Right. Whereas if you get on Google, people are searching, you target people that are searching for baby products. Right. And so it's very direct. And so somebody's not, and also on Facebook, people are in social media mode. They're conversational mode. So you have to have ads that are conversation. It's like a psychological game to try to get them, because they don't want to buy stuff. Whereas on YouTube, they're searching for stuff. And so you're getting them in the right mindset. So it's a lot easier to sell them stuff because they expect an ad before every video. They know it's an ad. So you're not like on Facebook, you're trying to pretend it's not an ad and try to be
Right.
conversational. You don't have to do that on YouTube. You could be very direct and it works, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. So Cameron said, I've only started this last month and it's the best results I've seen on paid ads. And he's talking about YouTube because he was saying how on fire it is. And so glad that you agree. James is letting us know that we're buffering on Facebook. Yeah. And that the live stream is pausing every once in a while on Facebook. Is he referring to YouTube ads or organic YouTube? YouTube ads. This is very interesting. Glad that it is. What about in-market audiences? Are you even dealing with that or no?
No, we don't even mess with that. So we basically, there's two targeting that we do. We focus on either broad targeting, and we let Google pick all of the targeting for us and optimize for us, or sometimes we'll do topics. And we're trying to optimize for purchases. So sometimes we'll do topics in the beginning when it's just trying to get a few purchases in. But as soon as you have a few purchases in, Google will go out and find people that are similar to them, and they're very good at targeting and finding audiences that are similar to your customers. You don't need a lot of buyer data to get there. It's very, very fast. So within the first few days and a small handful of purchases, they'll start targeting really well.
Got it. I think I know the answer to this one, but let me answer it first, and then if I'm wrong, feel free to totally correct me. Oops. So this one is, do you test sending directly to an offer versus an opt-in page? Now, what I've seen, I don't know whether they send people to an opt-in page. I haven't seen that. What I have seen, though, in the pages that I've seen, are they send people to a landing page that really is just a headline, at least the one I was looking at. The one I was looking at was just a headline, and it had an image of the video. And when you clicked on the image of the video, it took you to the actual page where the sales letter in the video actually was. So it was really just really a bridge page was what it was. I don't know if they're all like that, but so is that what you guys are doing, Rob, or do you guys do a bunch of different things?
That's correct. Nowadays they're calling it splash page. But yeah, it's a bridge page, and it's like on Facebook ads, you have to have, we call it a pre-sale page. And it does a lot of the work of transitioning them from that social mindset into that kind of buyer's mode. Whereas on YouTube, most of the pre-selling happens in the video itself. And so by the time they get to your landing page, it's really just continuing that momentum. And so you can be pretty minimalistic with there. And like you said, it's just a splash page. So you got a headline, you got an image, and then a little blurb below it. But to answer his question, we don't direct link. You definitely need that bridge page. You can't just send, because if you had 100 different advertisers sending everybody to the same website, then the ad network's not going to like that.
Yeah, and so for those that have been around for a while, like when Google AdWords first started, you used to be able to send traffic to basically a landing page that had no outside links on it. That's it, just a page. The page had a headline and an opt-in box, and that was it. And that, believe it or not, performed better than anything else that you could ever put on a page. Of course, Google over time made that not allowable. First, you had to have other navigation links on. Then you had to have more copy on. And with all these things, like opt-in rates go down. And so everything has been reset. And now all of a sudden, traffic from YouTube, you can send to just a page, with minimal writing on it, and basically just click here and you jump over to another page, and that's okay. And it just is another signal of how we are once again in the golden age of YouTube advertising. Right now, it will most certainly not last. It might last 2 years. It might last 3 years. It's going to last some period of time, but it will not. In 10 years from now, it will not be the same. In 5 years from now, I don't think it will be the same. I
think it's a cycle that traffic networks go through. When they're new, they're very lax with their compliance and stuff like that. And Google used to be super easy in the beginning. And then when everybody jumped over to Google, then it started to get really hard. And you had I had to jump through all these hoops to be compliant. I'm not allowed to do this or that. And then Facebook came along, everybody shifted over to Facebook. Facebook was super easy. And then Facebook went through the same transition. It became, you can advertise this, you can't say this, you can't do that. And in the meantime, when Google lost so much ad revenue, they just reverted right back to the old way. Plus YouTube came out, YouTube became the big thing. And so now YouTube is right back to that sort of golden era. It's like like you say, it's like the great reset of Google Ads.
Yeah, it is. The next question, like, please repeat the best industries to advertise the video is freezing. Like, you can take it as specific as you want, but in general, the three best areas are relationships, wealth, and health. Like, those are the three at the end of the day. I mean, everything is kind of broken down from there. You know, obviously there are other ones too, but like those are the easy ones. Is there anything?
Yeah, those are the broad interest niches. But I'll tell you what's really easy. That right now, the absolute easiest to make money with promoting products is supplements. So there's supplements for everything you can imagine now. They're coming out with supplements for, you know, all kinds of different health stuff related from any, obviously like weight loss is going to be huge, but like vision, tinnitus, you know, hearing, like, I don't know, sleep products, like anything that you can imagine, they've got supplements now. And that's the easiest thing in the world to sell because they've just made it simple, and they give really high commissions. We'll earn probably around 65% commissions on a lot of these supplement offers, and the conversion rates on a supplement offer are drastically higher than an information product in most cases nowadays. So
Interesting. And do you find that the conversion, you said the commissions are higher?
The commissions are a little bit lower because, like, on a digital product, the product owners, they don't have much overhead, so they can afford to give, like, say, almost up to 90% commissions. But the conversions are so much higher on supplements than digital products that, like, say, a 65% commission will end up making you a lot more money because you might have double or triple the conversion rate.
Got it. So Kevin wants to know, are you rotating related offers or a single offer?
Only when you're testing offers to find the best one. Once you find the best one, you just focus on one.
Got it. Cool. YouTube is fine. YouTube isn't freezing. Not freezing here. Weird. Yeah, it's not that strange. I switched to YouTube.
It's like a sales pitch for YouTube as a platform.
Yes, there is a lower days and higher days. You say it will spend more on other days and make up for it?
Yeah, so whatever you set your daily budget at, it's like an average daily budget. And so if you've got $100 per day budget, then Google tells you that we're going to spend up to double your budget. So $100 per day budget actually means up to $200 per day, but your average over 30 days would be $100 per day.
That's not a bad deal. I wish my allowance was like that when I was a kid.
Well, it's good to know in advance because if you don't read the fine print and then you raise your budget to $1,000 and then it spends $2,000, you go, oh crap! Like,
so very poor video quality. Can't watch, just frozen. Yeah, then you have to go to YouTube. That's really interesting. That, yeah, not freezing at all. Interesting. YouTube good.
It's got to be a coincidence.
Yeah, it's definitely Facebook, and it's not. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if Facebook is not having this problem with everything. But if you don't think Facebook has, just like every other platform has, the ability to know what we're talking about through AI and then determine, like, should they throttle it down, throttle it up, then you're crazy.
Let's just say Facebook is our favorite for a few minutes and see if it
like,
starts working.
All of a sudden, like Facebook is great. Mark Zuckerberg is very handsome. You should win
the vaccine now.
Right? Like blah blah blah. We have seen this problem with our live streams on Facebook before, even if not criticizing Zuck and his minions. Interesting. Occasionally, $500 a day is not too shabby. No, not at all. I think it was pretty ironic that it keeps freezing on Facebook too. Okay, working for me, USA. All right, cool. Dr. Vogelman shared twice. Awesome. Christine Burke, that is not you. Oh, bummer. Did you see the picture of Christine Burke? Because she's a very attractive woman. Oh well.
Mine popped up with a pediatrician.
Oh really? Mine is the IMDb popped up, And I apparently, yeah, it says chain smokers, L'Oreal Paris, like, yeah, she's a famous
Well,
model or actress.
Google knows what you like, so it
Maybe that's why.
give you.
Uh, yeah, I wish I had that body or voice, so she knows who I'm talking about. Are you promoting affiliate offers through YouTube ads? Yes, that's the whole point. I mean, that is what they are doing to make the insane amount of money that they're currently making, but explain it better.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity right now. It's easier than it's been in a long time on Facebook. I mean, like when we got started on Facebook 7 years ago, going really hard on the affiliate offers.
Mhm.
There was a lot of money to be made, but you still had to be really good at images. And that's the thing that really caught up a lot of people. And there's a creativity that's required to get,
Yeah.
even if you kind of understand the psychology, there really is a creativity that's required. And on YouTube, you don't really have that. It's all about the script. And the script can just be very formulaic as far as copywriting goes. But you have to get the right things in there. But if you have a good script, then that's the number one thing. And so I think what stood in the way of a lot of people on Facebook, and just to put things in perspective, like our students have made $64 million on Facebook. So we know what we're doing on Facebook, but it's just, we haven't seen anything like this on Facebook before. And YouTube is just such a huge opportunity where we're seeing people that are not, that's their main like obstacles. They're not creative, and yet they're able to still have success just by going through the steps. And that's really rare, that you have like a business model that you're able to have success without having like the vision and the creativity. That's usually the part that's really hard to teach. On Facebook, that's the part that's hard to teach. But on YouTube, I don't know, it's just so much simpler as far as the process goes for the average person.
Yeah, so there was a question a little earlier, like that asked, can you kind of walk through the overall process, like what it's like?
Sure. Yeah. So if I was going to promote an offer, like, so recently we've been promoting this dental product. And so we go out and we have the product. And so we have a link from the vendor, our affiliate link. And then we have a splash page that we create. And we talked about the splash page. It's very simple. There's a headline and an image and a little bit of a blurb and an affiliate link.
Right.
And then we have an ad that goes to that splash page.
Right.
And you have the tracking is set. It takes a little bit of, 20 minutes to set up the tracking or whatever. And then you
And the
just
ads
test
are
ads.
pretty much formulaic.
The ads are, from a copywriting perspective, they're pretty formulaic. So Keegan, the guy that figured all this stuff out, he went and he tested all kinds of stuff. He probably spent tens of thousands of dollars testing different video scripts, going through different until he figured out what works. And it's pretty formulaic. You got the psychology that you go through. You got the scientific discovery. You've got the social proof aspect. You've got these people have had results. You've got the call to action. But it's like a list of things that you go through. And so it's a formulaic kind of thing. And basically everybody in the group that we put together, they're all using Keegan's templates for these scripts. And so regardless of whether it's a weight loss product or whether it's a dental product like vision product, or whether it's a tinnitus product, or whether it's a prostate product, or whether it's dental, they all go through the same basic template for the video script. And then the thing that we're doing, because it's so simple to make these videos now, there's like tools that make it really easy to make high quality videos. You don't have to be on camera. You don't need a microphone. Like, you don't need to do voiceovers. The production's super easy, that you could create, say, 5 different variations where the bulk of the video is exactly the same, but then the first couple of sentences you play around with variations. Because what we're doing is these, I guess I call them like pre-roll ads, right? The ones where you get a 5-second, like they have to watch for 5 seconds and then they could skip. So you got to make it past that first 5 seconds. So as long as you've got the system in place, then really the only thing you need to test is your video. And because we're using tools that make it easy to make video, all you need is the script. And so it all comes down to testing scripts, right? And then really it comes down to testing like the lead on the script. So which is the first couple of sentences. And so you have 5 videos that vary the first couple of sentences until you find the one that's the winner. And then you let Google optimize everything. And then you just scale up as quickly as you can maintain your ROI.
So just, and correct me wherever I'm wrong here. So you get like in the program, right? Like, but also just people can visualize like the process, right? Like, so you have Kagan scripts. You're modifying those scripts in some minor ways to make them relevant for like whatever the product is. You now have this script. You're then going to another site to load up that script and get back a video that uses like stock video, uses an AI voice that basically turns your script into a commercial, I mean, into a YouTube video ad that, you know, you can create multiple versions of by just altering the script a little bit and then go to YouTube and now you have your ads. Now, like, right? Like that. Is it as simple as that? Because that sounds extremely simple, but I might be oversimplifying it.
No, that's basically it. So the tools do most of the work for you, the heavy lifting for you as far as creating a video. You can copy and paste your script into the tools, and then there's AI generated voices that will narrate your script, and they're really good. I actually had one. I had a voice clone created of my business partner, and I had a voice clone created of me, and so I can type in a script, and then I can make my business partner say whatever I want. And so like I have these little audio snippets sending jokes to him of him saying goofy stuff. But the technology is so good now that the AI voices sound very realistic. And so you just put in your script, and the narration that generates for you will sound very, very, very realistic. And I mean, it's difficult to go hire voiceover artists, and it's a pain in the neck, and it's expensive. So that part's covered. And then actually like editing and creating a video, that used to be really hard, but now the tools will actually search through your script, and for each sentence it will go and it'll create like a scene, right? And it'll go and it'll grab B-roll video to put in the back of the scene. And if you're talking about, you know, this group of people was, you know, hanging out and they're doing this, it would show a group of people hanging out, you know, laughing. And if you're
Right.
talking about traveling, it might grab a travel video, and it does all this stuff for you. And then, of course, you could go and dial it in a little bit. And there's also an opportunity now where it used to be like B-roll video used to be really expensive. You'd have to pay for the rights to this stuff. And now there's B-roll networks out there that make it super cheap to get. And they're integrated into these tools online. So that's no longer a problem. The cost of it is no longer an issue. It's very inexpensive. And then that's really, and then they will also add captions on your video. So as you're watching the video, you can hear the narrator and you can read the captions on the screen. And that gives you a little bit of a conversion boost too, because you just kind of like get drawn into the video. And it feels like a very high production value video because you're seeing really high quality B-roll. You got a good script and you hear a narrator with a nice voice saying, reading your script, you know, and then you have your call to action at the end and whatnot. And so the average person can create very high quality videos without needing a big budget or a big, you know, team or a lot of expense. So.
Got it. And wait, I'm just looking at something because don't know if this is accurate. Hold on. But hold on. Someone was saying that they were having a challenge like that. It asked, where was it? It said, the link you showed asked for a phone number, but then rejects saying I entered invalid email account, but it doesn't ask for email. I see it asking for an email, so I'm just testing the form. So let's just do this. All right, and reserve my spot. Worked for me, so okay. So never mind. Cool. All right. So where was that one? That was there. Okay. This is different. This might be not related. So I'm getting good views with discovery ads, but I'm not sure how to best capitalize with discovery ads. Yeah, I would say like if you're a Steal Our Winners subscriber, I would watch the video that Alaric Heck did on how to use discovery ads to grow your channel. But you're not using discovery ads because there would be no real reason you're doing, right?
Yeah, we don't use discovery ads.
What type of verticals work best on YouTube? I think we've already kind of covered that, but if you want to add more, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, generally, because we want scale, we're trying to target something that we could do like basic demographic targeting. So something that would, like for example, if you have a prostate offer, then you could target men 55 and up. If you have a weight loss offer, you can target women 35 and up, or men and women 35 and up, or 45 and up. If you have a vision offer, then you might be able to target men and women 35 and up. So we're trying to do this demographic targeting where there's a large enough segment of the general population that it would appeal to them. So if you've got 5% of the people watching your video are like, yeah, I've got a prostate problem, then that means it would work. And then as you're running the ads, then Google will automatically optimize the traffic to even focus it more. So generally any kind of niche that has that big broad appeal are the ones that you can go really big with. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, things that you can go mass. So Kevin says, I attempted to outsource YouTube ad creation to Upwork, but received no worthwhile responses. Well, the good news is that you don't have to. Can you talk about InVideo? Because you shared that resource with me. I'd love it if you could explain what InVideo does, because that'll be a killer tip for most people here.
Yeah, InVideo is a video creator sort of tool. You input your script into there, and then it will grab B-roll to match up with each of the sentences. And then we use a tool called Lovo.ai to create the voices. And actually, we have our own tool to create voices as well, the computer-generated voices. And so you could get your AI voice, and then you have an audio of the AI voice, and you can add it to the video as well. So it does like 95% of the work for you. And then you can just tweak things on there that you don't like. Oh, I want this timing to be a little bit different, or this B-roll video is not exactly what I want. Let me grab another one and replace it,
Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't heard about Lovo. I mean, we've done that. Like I have this one, what's the one I use? Descript. And what Descript does, it's an AI tool. And you can edit video. It wouldn't be useful, I think, for what you guys do, but like, you can load in any video, and then you can edit the video it transcribes the whole video, and then you can edit the video by just editing the transcript. And so you could take out all the ums, likes, and uhs by just pressing a button, remove all filler speech, and it will remove it, right? You can then start typing stuff in that wasn't said, and it will add it. So there's a video of like an outtake from my live stream about someone jumping in and talking about crypto offers. I never said any of that. Like our editor actually wrote that using my AI trained voice. And if you listen closely, you can hear that it is a little bit computer, but most people, well, I don't think there are any comments about it not being me. And that's what we use, but that we're using for a different purpose. But I want people to really understand the point. It means that, like, okay, so in Profit Singularity, you're getting a script where now you just have to tweak it. But and then you go to a tool like InVideo, and it's producing the whole video spot for you. But if you're using it for your own business, like, you can look at the scripts of some successful YouTube ads already by just looking at the transcript in YouTube, start comparing the ones that work really well, get some ideas, write your own version of a different script, and now go to a tool like InVideo, and you are off to the races. You don't have to get a camera. You don't have to hire a voiceover. You don't have to buy stock photos and footage and all that kind of stuff. You're good to go. Like, that's how simple this is. Were you surprised at how easy it was? Because it's like, I'm like, when I hear it, it's like, I can't believe how easy it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. When we created the beta testers group just to see how it would work, I there's no way I would have expected the outcome that we had. Because everybody in the group, every one of the original 15 people made money, and the lowest end was like I said, $500 per day profit, and that was last we checked was probably a few weeks ago. I haven't checked in with that person, and then the highest person made $1.5 million just in the last 90 days. So we entered a contest, like an affiliate contest, and it was a product that was, so we're using ClickBank for this contest, and it was a product that was nowhere on their leaderboard, and it within the 30 days that we were all in this contest, we had the top 3 spots were from our group, and then a handful of the other spots were from our group, and we put this product at number 3 on ClickBank. This is a group of beginners that learned how to do YouTube and run, and I think we did for the contest, we did $1.4 million in sales, and we brought the product up to number 3. And the only 2 products that were beating it, this was this dental offer, and then the 2 products that were beating it were 2 weight loss offers. And so it was kind of crazy that just this dental product could get to number 3 on ClickBank so quickly, just with a group of relative newbies promoting it.
That is pretty insane. So Marco wants to know, are bridge pages compliant?
Yeah, you just have to. I mean, there's a few elements. You need to have your footer links and contact and the basic stuff in place. But yeah, it's fine.
Is an ad beyond 30 seconds worth it for selling digital products?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the sweet spot is probably 2 to 3 minutes. But the shortest ad, I'd say my shortest ad that's worked really well has been about a minute long. Keegan said his shortest ad was about 50 seconds. 30 seconds would be really short. I'd recommend probably 2 to 3 minutes.
Got it. Don't know if you know the answer to this, but are the commissions for supplements affiliates recurring? Like, are you getting paid like on a recurring?
No, it used to be. So a few years back, supplements were a big thing, and people would get you into like a monthly recurring thing. And that became a problem because there were a lot of chargebacks, and then there ended up being a lot of scammy sort of supplement companies. And then, so what people would do is they would rotate through different merchant accounts because they get all these chargebacks. And so what happened is they just start selling packages. And the upsell is buy 6 bottles, buy 12 bottles. Right. And that works a lot better because people can refund. There's no recurring stuff. So no, there's no recurring revenue on these, but you're trying to make your money on day zero, right? Yeah. And so you can see your ROI immediately. You don't have to look down into the future.
Pain relief supplements are big. Yes, they are. What about CBD?
I haven't personally promoted CBD, but I imagine there's probably some good CBD offers on the CPA networks.
Yeah, I would assume so too. Facebook is mad at you. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time. What affiliate networks do you recommend to promote offers? Well, obviously ClickBank is one, and give a second one.
MaxWeb is a good one. So one thing that's happened recently is ClickBank has started allowing CPA, and so CPA means you get paid a set number for each sale, and you don't have to worry about refunds. And so if you can promote an offer on CPA, you don't have to factor refunds into your ROI, right? So if there's like a 30-day refund policy or a 60-day refund policy, then your ROI today might change by the time you hit the end, and so if you have a CPA offer, they'll pay you like after a week. So you could be making 10% ROI, and you could scale that up because it's going to stay at 10% ROI. Whereas if you have an offer with refunds, you would want it to have a higher ROI. You'd be better to have 50 or 100% or more ROI, so that if a bunch of refunds come in, you don't watch that lower down. And so if you're doing CPA offers, MaxWeb is one that's good. We do CPA offers on there, and you get paid after a week 100% of your revenue. There's no they don't hold a little 10% or 15% of it for refunds. So it's good for cash flow. And also it's good for you absolutely, like, even if you have 10 or 20% ROI, you can scale that up because it's still profit. It's still like an ATM machine, So that's a network.
Well, I know the answer is no, at least on the ones I've seen. Are there any where you do collect the email before sending the traffic over?
You could if you wanted to,
I mean,
but
obviously, it's gonna
that's
affect
not our
conversion rates.
strategy.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're into you could create like instead of a splash page that
right.
just links people over, you can make it an opt-in page and then send them over to an offer. But you're going to
Yeah.
see you're going to see a drop off in the amount of people that reach the offer. And so you're going to have to make up for it in the email
Mhm.
campaign. And so you're going to have to be good at email. And so maybe in the long run, you might be able to make more money if you're good at email, but you're going to make lower ROI on day zero. And
Mhm.
so you're going to have less cash flow. And so
Yeah.
from our perspective with the numbers, it makes more sense to have maximum cash flow on day zero.
You use a text-to-speech app for the voice. What style of video do you use? Well, InVideo
They're
makes
B-roll.
yeah, with B-roll and everything else. Got it. Same questions. We already answered that. What's your testing budget?
We start off at like $100 a day, 100,
Uh-huh.
150, or if you have a higher budget, you can start higher. Generally, I would recommend so if the average order value of a product is $110,
Mhm.
if you spend $110 per day, then at the end of the day, if that didn't get any sales, then it's probably not worth targeting. So generally, I'll start a little bit higher because I have plenty of budget. So I might start at $300 a day. But I'd recommend starting at least $100 a day.
Got it. Excellent. Where can I find those scripts? You can find those scripts by going to strategicprofits.com/YouTube, and they will tell you all about it on the webinar. Um, I don't know if you know, like, do long video ads perform better than short video ads or vice versa?
We've had the best success with 2 to 3 minutes long. I mean, if you were really into copy and you had a really good message, then a long video ad would be fine. But yeah, it's not really necessary unless if it's your business, and you're trying to build this sort of specific branding. If you have content that you could put in an ad that people would find very valuable, there's ads that do really well that have content, but that's not really the strategy that we use.
Got it. I think I can answer this one. Is your program complementary or competitive with John Benson's Now VSL and CopyPro? It really has nothing to do with those. But if you are using John Benson's Now VSL or CopyPro to create something that you use to sell, you're then going to need eyeballs to that thing, or nobody's going to buy because no one will know about it. And if you plan on using YouTube to get those eyeballs to look at what you've written through Now VSL and CopyPro, then yes, it's very complementary. It's not competitive in any way, shape, or form, never would be. But this is an opportunity to master a methodology of advertising in YouTube that is very simple, that when you pair it with high converting, good paying affiliate offers, you have the ability to make significant daily income as little as $500 a day, as much as $50,000 a day of profit, not of sales, of profit. After you've subtracted out the advertising cost. So this is that's what profit singularity is. And what we're talking about is, like, in order for profit singularity to have been as effective and to be as effective as it is right now, the only way that works is because YouTube is such a screaming bargain, and that YouTube is the platform you should be on right now. And so the reason why I thought it would be great to have Rob here is, one, we're promoting the launch, and we're promoting the launch because we feel that if you wanted to do something to make money today that would also set you up to be a better business owner tomorrow, because you'd have certain skills that would allow you to grow a business, then this is that, right? This is the leading platform. Learning how to run profitable ads on a leading platform and make significant money while you're doing it, when you're only getting half of the front end, is insane, because it means when you turn that same skill onto your own business or your own products, where you keep 100%, not 50%, it like opens up possibilities to scale your business in a very big way. Anything to add to that, Rob?
I'll give you an example. So they brought up John Benson stuff, and John Benson's known for via sales. He's the godfather of via sales.
Yep.
You'd use his stuff if you're the vendor, right? So on your sales page. Now, if they're asking that, I would guess they're selling a product. And we actually have one of our beta testers is a vendor. And so he wanted to test our methods to promote his own product. And so typically, if you're the vendor, then you're happy with breaking even on acquiring a customer because you're making the money on the back end. And so for him, he's like, if my ROI is like 0, if I'm breaking even on my ads and not making any money, I'm happy because then we're selling stuff on the back end. But he's actually making ROI on the front end. So he's at, I don't know his exact ROI numbers, but he was posting in the group. And the latest thing I saw was he's up to $18,000 per day. And I believe it was something like, he had a really big day. It was something like 12. I'm not sure the exact number, but I think it was something like $12,000 profit. And he was like
$12,000 profit a day. That starts to add up pretty quick.
Yeah, he was ecstatic because he's also making the money on the back end. So if you are a vendor, if you do have a product, you can use this method to promote it. And then maybe you could use John Benson stuff to make your VSL on your sales page.
Yeah. Exactly. All righty. What AI software do you use to make the ad video? We just told you, InVideo.io. So that was covered. I figured a lot of you would want to know that. Same question. Same question. Is there an example somewhere? Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Do you have is there anywhere where there's like a video that you guys like a video ad that people can see?
Not in front of me, but we'll show an example on the call.
On the webinar? Yeah, if you want to see it, register for the webinar and you'll see it there. Okay, I'll take it. Okay, we already answered that. Dr. Volgman. If you still have experience doing professional voiceovers, would you still recommend, if you already have experience? Yeah. So
yeah, you can do the voiceovers if you can just keep doing them that way. But I would test it because we've actually depending on who's doing your voiceovers. I mean, there's a lot of variance in the quality of voiceovers, obviously. So I would run a test with the AI voices against your own voice. And if the AI voices do as well or better, or even if they do sort of close, it's easier to use the to crank out videos fast.
Yeah, you don't have to go find someone, hire them, pay them, or even do it yourself. It's going to take time. So
unless that's your skill set, I mean, if that's something you really enjoy doing and you can do it fast, sure, you can use those voices. But for most people, I wouldn't even bother with a real voiceover.
Not a good idea, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Awesome live stream, Cam Fat says. Thank you, Cam. Have you used Adzula? If you have, what do you think about it? I don't know what Adzula is. Do you?
I'm not familiar. Sounds like it's probably native ads. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different text to speech that sound pretty good. Lovo definitely sounds the most natural, but Talkia is pretty good too. I'll check that out. Have you heard of them?
No, we went through a lot. We actually have our own voice generator. We test all the different voices and we found a few specific voices that work better than others, and so we just put those in our own voice generator. But yeah, Lovo's a really good one.
Can a newbie do this? What's your thoughts?
I'd say of anything that I've done in the past few years, this is definitely the most newbie friendly. It's definitely a lot more newbie friendly than Facebook. From a technical perspective, it's really easy. You don't need to do a lot of technical stuff. All of the tools do it for you. And from a creativity perspective, I think that's important. You don't need to be ultra creative to make it work. And I think those are the two biggest things that stand in the way for most newbies. So I think it's really newbie friendly.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Deep fakes.
Yeah.
We did a killer deep fake for a promo that I did for Steal Our Winners, actually, when we were doing the original live stream. We never used it because we had challenges with Agora's legal. But in the video, I am Robert De Niro, and then I'm Brad Pitt, and then I'm Joe Rogan, and then I'm Mark Zuckerberg, and then I'm Sergey Brin, and then I'm Jeff Bezos. Like, just like it's pretty cool.
That sounds fun.
Like, yeah, I'll pull it up maybe if we have some time. Nancy Newts, depends on how tech literate you are and or if you know how to write copy and how to target niches. All right. Are you
Yeah,
focused on click?
I think he means ClickBank.
Yeah.
Yeah, ClickBank and we like
JV
MaxWeb as
Zoo
well.
or no?
We haven't done JVZoo. JVZoo is usually like little biz uppy things. I don't know if it would work well.
Would this be a good way to create your own marketing mafia? Not sure what you mean, Dr. Vogelman, but maybe expand on that. Hope you are well too, Elizabeth Roseberg from Northbrook near Chicago. The bundles with supplements definitely have worked. Plus, it's straightforward, no tricky language. What's CPA? CPA is cost per action, right? Or cost per acquisition. Like it depends on who's using it. But when he's saying when you get paid on a CPA basis, you're getting paid based on the action that people take, and you're generally getting paid more than what that action might be worth, like what it appears on the surface. You want to expand on that? Or
Yeah, if you there's commission based pay, and then there's like, so CPA is like a set dollar amount per buyer. Whereas if you're getting paid on commissions, then if they take an upsell, you get a percentage of the upsell. If they take 2 upsells, you get a percentage of both upsells. So the value will vary per customer. But if you've got a good vendor, like a good CPA offer, then they're going to give you higher payouts. And then with CPA, you don't have to worry about refunds. So that helps with cash flow.
Ruben says Hotmart is bigger than ClickBank, I think. Yeah, I think Hotmart is more international than the United States. I think in the United States, ClickBank is bigger, I think. How do you track? What software do you use? Are you using anything special?
We use ClickMagic.
What is it?
ClickMagic. It's really
and
easy
that's really just, what are you using that for? Just on the bridge pages?
Yeah, that will connect to ClickBank. That will connect to MaxWeb. That will connect to Google, and that'll tell you your ROI, and it'll tell you, it does it all for you, so you don't have to really like crunch numbers. It's very simple and easy to use.
And what was the name of it again?
ClickMagic, but magic is spelled CK.
Isn't magic spelled CK?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
They've been around for a while, and they're really good, and they're pretty inexpensive.
Okay. Over that. You mentioned you get Google to optimize on purchases. How did it do that with an affiliate offer?
ClickMagic takes care of that. So they give you all the buyer data, and you upload it to Google. It's really simple to do. It'd be hard to explain, but I could show you like on a demonstration very, very easily, and we'll do that later.
You do that during the webinar. So basically you're feeding back to Google you're using ClickMagic to know which buyers that went through your process ended up buying. And then you're returning that information back to Google so it can optimize.
Yeah, we found that's the most accurate way, because the issue lately has been all the Facebook, iOS, blah 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 tracking, is pixel tracking, and all stuff is all messed up because of Apple versus Facebook and whatnot. And on Google, we just don't have those same issues. And so uploading the buyers is really easy, and it's very accurate.
You are welcome, Dr. Vogelman. Thanks for mentioning that these are transferable skills. My dulcet tones have made me cash. I came late to this party. Could you please just summarize what's about here? So yeah, just real quick. There's a launch coming up. It's called Profit Singularity. I've been telling people for months that if you're not advertising on YouTube, you're making a big mistake. Especially people who are telling me they're trying to figure out how to make Facebook work for them now with iOS changes. And I don't know why anyone would be trying to make Facebook work right now when there's this massive opportunity to be advertising with the ability to scale at a much more massive level, to be able to buy traffic at a much cheaper price, to have a lot less compliance issues, have a lot less worried about losing your account issues in this one place, as opposed to trying to make something work that is problematic in this other place. The problem place right now is Facebook. That might change over time, but right now the problem is Facebook. Where the massive opportunity is right now is YouTube. Whether you have a product and you have a business that and you want to advertise it, or whether you have no product, no business, or nothing. And so Rob is from a company that is doing a launch called Profit Singularity. What it is advertising on YouTube, affiliate products, and getting half the money from the affiliate, right? Like from the product owner, because you're the affiliate. And that half that you're getting is making people $500 a day, $1,000 a day, $20,000 a day, $30,000 a day, $50,000 a day of profit. In other words, the 50% that the product owner is giving you back, you take that money, you pay for your ads, and then you're left with $1,000 a day or any of those numbers. And that's how big of an opportunity YouTube is right now. So I wanted to get Rob on, and I did a case study with Keegan, which when you click on the link that is right there, Strategic Profits on YouTube, you'll see that video, and then there's an invitation to a webinar. Like, I just think that when there's a platform that is where it is 10 times easier or more to make it work, to make advertising work on that one platform than anywhere else on the internet, you'd be an absolute fool to be trying to get something else to work when you know that this is the easiest place. And if you're still not like sure, then why not like look into Profit Singularity, where you can actually learn how to make money selling someone else's product, and have it be really straightforward, simple for you, so that then you can apply that to your own shit. That's the quick overview, Mark.
Yeah, we dump on Facebook a lot. Facebook is basically for advanced. You have to be an advanced media buyer at this point. So you can still make money on Facebook, but it's really difficult. And the scale there on YouTube, it's easier on YouTube, but the scale on YouTube is there. So why put in all that energy on Facebook when you can do it much easier on YouTube?
So Ron, you can check it out by just going to the link right here, strategicprofits.com/YouTube. And then what would be the minimum daily investment that you would recommend, Rob? Like, what does someone need to have to spend to be able to get started?
Well, I'll tell you, there's two types of people that it would work for. Number one is you're kind of like in an investment mindset, where you're willing to spend money to make money on something that makes sense, something that works. I'd recommend you have, like, say, a $3,000 budget to run ads. But that being said, there's the people that just have like the hustle and heart kind of approach. We have one gentleman from Chile, Francisco, where the average monthly salary is $500. And you know what he did to raise some money to run ads is, in the pandemic, everybody wanted gym equipment and there's a shortage. And so he went and he built concrete dumbbells and he sold them, and he made cash, and he used that and he spent it on ads, and he scaled up very slowly because he had cash flow issues. He also had banking issues because the banking there is not modern. So he had to go through a company called Payoneer to connect with his bank account. And so he had long delays while getting paid, as well as low budgets, low cash flow. And within the 90 days, he's now up to making $15,000 days. And he said in one day, he makes more than both of his parents' yearly salary. And so it's crazy. And he's like, I believe he's 21 years old. And so he's making a difference in his whole, like, sort of generational wealth for his family, making a big difference. And he's really passionate about, he wants to spread his message, and he wants to, he's very goal oriented. He's very inspiring to listen to. So I'd say you can make it work with smaller budgets. You just got to have the hustle and the heart to do it.
Got it. And let's see here. Trader Rob says the title of this video should have been El Dorado. So much fucking gold. Reading Ranch wants to know what month is Alaric Hex segment on Steal My Winners. Alaric has done 3 different Steal Our Winners. He did one on video ads, like his script. He did one on his retargeting strategy. And if you've ever like come across anything of Alaric's, you know that he retargets like insane amounts. He'll follow you all over the internet. And then the last one was how to use discovery ads to build a channel fast. So those were the 3 that Alaric has done for us that are in Steal Our Winners. Do you use retargeting?
We don't bother with retargeting.
Okay.
No, it's not really necessary on this method.
Thank you for helping me to pivot to YouTube ads. I have dabbled, but I'm looking forward to taking a deeper dive into the YouTube pool. Yeah, it's like, look, guys, there opportunities open and close online. They don't like, they don't close super fast. So I don't think it's like this isn't going to disappear tomorrow, but over time, this will. Like over time, it will become more difficult to make money on YouTube. Right now, it happens to be really easy. Hopefully, by the time it gets difficult on YouTube, another platform opens up where we can all jump to. But like there's always been one place that is easier than all the other places. And usually it's a function of age, because usually when a platform is brand new, they're most receptive to advertisers. They're most receptive to direct response. They're most receptive. And then generally it gets more and more difficult. That's generally the way it goes. But yeah, I'm happy.
This is the rare situation where the Google is the number 1 and the number 2, Google and YouTube are the number 1 and the number 2 websites in the world, but they've been forced to have this sort of like new, this wild west feel with their advertising on YouTube, but they've got the technology that's so far advanced that it means their targeting and everything is automatic, and it can, like, if typically you get a new network and yeah, maybe it's easier, but they don't really have it dialed in on their targeting and stuff. Google is like spent the most money on AI, and they've got the most data, and so it's this really like perfect storm opportunity where they've got the best targeting, the best optimization. It's all automated for you, but it's also easy and there's low compliance issues. And it's like you could get away with a lot of stuff. So it's this really rare opportunity. And I don't know how long it will last before they start saying, okay, now you can't advertise weight loss. Now you can't. But right now you can advertise most niches on there. And you could say a lot of stuff in your ads that you could never get away with on Facebook. So it's huge, huge opportunity.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And how long do you think this opportunity will last? I don't know how long it's going to last. My assumption is that it'll last a little while because it's working for them. Their revenues are growing insanely well. And like, this is quite, this is obviously totally informal, not scientific at all. But in conversation, like, so, with Steal Our Winners and our new site, right? I think I've mentioned that I was thinking like, well, how do we turn our website into a destination, right? Like, because that's my experience back in retail. Like, you always wanted to turn your store into a destination, not just like people having to walk by and they stop in, but they actually make it a point to go to that store. And the more and more I thought about it, the more I realized that there really are very few destinations anymore online. It's not like it was 20 years ago where there were sites that you might have gone to every day. And when I asked people, like, are there any websites that you go to every day? The most common answer I got back was YouTube. And my answer would be YouTube. The only site that I go to daily is YouTube. There are many days that I don't look at Facebook. There are many days I don't look at Instagram. There are many days I don't go to any other social site except YouTube. And why do I go to YouTube? Because there will always be new stuff there. Like, so whatever is like currently happening in the world, I can see that. It's going to have stuff from the people I subscribe to, the people I'm interested in hearing more on. And then there's going to be a random sampling of just like totally new stuff to me that YouTube thinks I might be interested in based on what I was last watching or something like that. And there's generally something there for me to passively consume. And so YouTube is the only place that is like the place I go, right? And I think I'm not alone in that. And you know, I think that as a business model, like, yeah, if I was betting on one of the platforms, I'd be betting on YouTube because I just think
The other thing is YouTube. When I go to YouTube, I generally feel happy. When I go to Facebook, it seems optimized to make me feel angry and feel argumentative, you know? And Instagram to a lesser degree, but YouTube, it just, they give you the stuff that makes you happy, whereas it really seems like it's really negative when you go to Facebook, and that's, I prefer that. I
does
mean, I prefer the YouTube.
yeah, got it. Does the program walk people through how to design ads and how to set up ad accounts on YouTube?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
really easy. That part is really easy.
There's an opportunity to innovate. The Spanish market is a big opportunity. Oh yeah, for sure. We're actually talking to Hotmart right now because they are interested in sponsoring us and paying for our translation into Spanish so that we sell on their platform, in South and Central America.
Yeah, Brazil is a huge market.
Yeah, huge market. Can see this as an opportunity to help business move off of Facebook. Exactly, Warren. Will this now make an opportunity seeker rather than a strategic thinker? Yeah, well, that's the thing, right, Dr. Vogelman? I mean, it's kind of odd for me to be sharing a business opportunity because I tend to really rally against such things. I would say that my mind has been open a little bit on this, and actually one other thing I would say. So for this, I think that one, people are making good money from it, but more importantly than that, I think that the skill set of learning to effectively run ads on YouTube would be very valuable for anyone that wants to have their own business right now. So I think it's a step in the right direction. The only other biz op that I would say makes sense after having now been exposed to it over and over again is if you wanted to be an email copywriter. Like, there is tremendous opportunity out there to get clients, like small local businesses, write their emails and for like on retainer for $1,000 or $2,000 a month. This opportunity, this YouTube opportunity, obviously has the ability to make you a lot more and the ability to work a lot less than that. But like, if I were thinking about two different biz ops, kind of like that would give you some experience in an area that would benefit you in no matter what business you do later on, right? I would say these two. And then I would say, if you wanted to make a lot of money, which I don't know why you wouldn't, then I would totally lean towards this profit singularity, primarily because like there are people making 50 grand a day, 30 grand a day. Like, it's kind of insane to think about when you're just arbitraging traffic at the end of the day.
Yeah. If you have much experience with paid ads, I mean, it used to be so much work, so much testing, and so much, like, the optimization had to be on your end. Like, you'd have to test a whole bunch of variations and dial things in. And now all the optimization is handled by machine learning. And so it's now accessible to the average person. And like I said before, typically things that, new technology, it gets taken over by corporations. At some point, my assumption based on what usually happens with ad networks is it's at some point it'll be the big advertisers that benefit from that, and it'll become very hard for the small advertisers to do that. And that's kind of where Facebook is now.
Yep.
But now it's at that kind of golden opportunity stage on YouTube where a small advertiser can have big success. They could take advantage of the new technologies. I don't know where it's going to be in a few years, but I would guess that the big corporations are going to take that over. So the opportunity, I'd say, move fast and take advantage of it now, while it's still doable for the small business.
See this question? I have no idea what the answer is. How long is the program?
Oh, the training program is 8 weeks.
8 weeks. All right. Let's see. TT Stars says potential buyers would be lost for you if they abandon the shopping cart. You are not worried about this? Look, they're not worried about it because they're paying $1 and they're getting $2 back. Like, what you're asking them is like maybe not get $2 back, maybe get $1.50 back, and maybe over long periods of time you might get the 50 cents back, and then maybe after that, like you might get another 25 cents or 50 cents, so you might be at 250 instead of $2. But they're making $2 10 seconds after they paid for the person, and they don't want anything to interfere with that. In fact, like one of the things I tell people, which is why, like, if you watch the CLR winners with Gohar Chaudhry, right? Gohar is talking about how putting a squeeze page in front of an offer will boost the response. And you heard, like, if you watch that CLR winners, you'll hear me say that's not my experience whatsoever. My experience is the exact opposite. My experience is that when someone has a squeeze page in front of their offer and it's not making money, I tell them take it off, because most people are really bad at email follow-up and they cannot make up the difference. And so when I said that to him, I said, where is this traffic coming from that you're saying a squeeze page would be better than not having a squeeze page? And he said PPV traffic. And then that's why we went on to like targeting competitors with PPV, and then having your pixel on the PPV that pops so that you could actually create targeted lists. But my experience is that almost, like, if you look at what Agora does, right? Like, and we've spent a ridiculous amount on testing, I can assure you of that. We pioneered the organic method of people opting into an e-letter and getting that every day. And then the entire company switched to making front-end sales, not going for the opt-in. And that's what helped us go from about 100 million to 2 billion. And so we still do lead gen, but we don't do lead gen on our front end offers. And
I'll tell you, the place where it makes a big difference is if you're selling high ticket products.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean, if you're selling, we're talking about products that are like impulse buy, and the price points are not to a level where people are going to be like, I can't afford to spend $50 for this thing. But if you're selling a $2,000, a $5,000 program, of course you're going to want to do lead gen, and you're going to want to build a relationship with them over time. But for impulse buy stuff, it's not really necessary. You're just going to lose out on people that get into your funnel and never see the offer.
Cool. Let's see. Really interesting ideas. Thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. Will you work with my VA? Well, you can enroll your VA, and then, but be careful, because that VA might quit working for you once they learn the strategies. What's the best voice type? Is there a best voice type?
We've had a lot of success with a British male's voice.
Got it. So British male, which most people think sounds educated. My sister is the only person I think in the world that thinks a British accent sounds uneducated and a New York accent sounds educated. But I grew up in New York, and she has a New York accent, so she might be somewhat biased. Emmy, I've gone over it, and hopefully you typed that in before I went over the last recap, so I'm not going to do it again. Split test offer owners, so you can figure out who has their offers dialed in, so they make a sale with you for you within 30 days. The cookie is live. Yeah, well, they're hoping to get the sale immediately, right, Rob?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about how long the cookie is, because we're trying to make the money like on day zero.
Got it. And let's see. Anything, so I think we've cycled through all the comments. Is there anything that you think we didn't talk about that we should? And as you think about that, like, if people who are watching, if there's any question that you'd really like to ask before we call it a night, please, enter it in now so that we can see it, so that we can make sure that we address that question. Because we're supposed to stay on till 8, but if we're done, we're done, and we don't need to just necessarily hang out because we said we'd be on till
the main thing I would want to communicate to people is, if you've never really considered YouTube, you should definitely consider it. And if you think it's too hard, or you think it's too complicated or technical, I would tell you that it's not, and I would give it a chance, because I think the average person can do it. You don't need a lot of the typical requirements to get into media buying that you would normally need. You can do it with pretty reasonable budgets, and you could do it with very little technical know-how if you have a roadmap. So that's the main thing, is I would say definitely give YouTube a chance, because there's so much opportunity and so much potential there, even for complete beginners.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. Let's go back to comments here. Oh, yep. Jones. Someone asked what your last name was. Let's see. All right,
I think I have the most generic name there is.
So, okay. What are some good ideas for the first few videos of a channel? So, Rob, I'm not sure why you're asking that, because we're not talking about a channel. We're talking about running ads. Don't know, Rob.
Yeah, to be
I don't know.
clear, like the channel that we create for running ads all of our videos are unlisted. So if you go to the channel, there's like zero public videos. So you don't actually need a public channel to do this.
So Ron wants to know, what is the best place to start learning basics of YouTube ad setup, your program, or something else? Well, obviously he's going to be a little biased here and say his program. Look, there's probably a lot of places that you can learn how to run ads on YouTube. But if you want to learn how to profitably run ads on YouTube that sell direct response type offers and allow you to make a significant income while you're learning, then I think the answer is pretty clear, that you should at the very least, register for the webinar and hear more about the program. That wasn't the intent today. The intent today was to let you know that this is legitimate, this is real, this is something that you should explore, and to answer any questions that you have, and to also send you to another case study that I did with Keegan about this, so that you really can get your head around it. Anything to add, Rob?
Yeah, there's a lot of examples of people from different backgrounds that are able to have success with this. So whatever the obstacles are, I think a lot of the issues that people run into when it comes to building an online business come just around, beliefs in yourself and overcoming whatever obstacles they are. And a lot of times, for when you're just starting out, that's around technical stuff, or it's around creativity, or those are the big ones. But that's usually the thing that I address, and then the tactical stuff comes kind of second. But in this situation, the tactical stuff is actually really quite simple and straightforward, and the creativity is not really required where a lot of other methods it is, and also the technical aspect is so simple. So I just want to encourage people to give it a shot, because I think your average person can really grasp this very quickly.
Very cool. And what would you say, through all of this, what was the biggest surprise for you? What were you totally not expecting at the end of the day that, was something that happened?
The thing that's crazy is when somebody has a successful ad, how quickly it blows up. And that's kind of why I came up with the name of this. Singularity is kind of just a nerdy way of saying AI, like an AI thing. And if you go Google Singularity, you're going to find these graphs that show here's human intelligence and then here's machine intelligence, right? And so we're playing around with that, having fun with it. And so you see this graph like that, and you see the same thing happen on their commissions, right? So you see it's moving along and it's starting to grow, and then it just shoots way up. So that was a surprise to me. That when Ilio, the immigrant from Afghanistan, had his video with the robot voice, and then he shot up from $1,000 a day up to 6 or 8 to 31,000 in a matter of 3 days. That was crazy. And that was the point where he said, okay, we got to try this ourselves and see if this is really true, because it sounded like bullshit. We got the 15 people together, and just the consistency that everybody in that group, that initial group, was able to make money with the system just blew my mind, because you always get a handful of people can't do it, or that something happens. The consistency blew my mind.
Yeah.
And
No,
well,
it's insane.
I should say the one thing that really blew my mind the most was Nick, who made $1.5 million. That was the biggest surprise. But the range of people from Francisco, who's, starting with tiny budgets in Chile, on up to Nick, who's a young guy with he had in the 90 days that we were doing this, he's newly married. He's in the newlywed phase still, I believe the first year of his marriage. His wife was pregnant, and during the 90 days, they had their baby, and so now he has his first daughter, and he made a ton of money. And then he said, "Guys, I'm gonna pull out and step away from ads for a while and focus on being with my family," because he's this workaholic type, and he just hyper achiever. But now he's got this time to be a new father, have his new family, spend time with his family, and it's exciting. I mean, who gets makes $1 million in your 20s and then has a kid and then you just hang out and enjoy life? That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. So someone wants to know, Mark wants to know, how much do you make on average per day with how many ads/campaigns?
You're really trying to get just one. I mean, so you test a bunch of stuff. You might test 5 or 10 videos, and ultimately you're just trying to get one. And so once you have one, you put all your focus into that one. And then how much money you make just depends on how high you can scale it. And how high you can scale it depends on the offer. So if you're promoting how broad the offer is. So if it's a really targeted offer, then it might be smaller. But if it's a broad offer, any offer that has broad market appeal could go as high as any of these that you've seen, $20,000, $50,000 a day, whatever. So it really depends on your budgets. But it's not an answer that there's not a question that there's a direct answer for, but hopefully that gives you an idea.
Yeah, I think that is pretty good. Amit wants to know, what is the ad budget you need? And earlier you said, Rob, you should have about $3,000 in total, right? That's what
that would be ideal.
Right.
I would want to start at minimum of $100 a day for an ad, ideally.
Got it.
You could go slower than that, but you're going to have to wait more. You might have to wait a couple of days before you get real good data.
Got it. Cool. So it looks like we're gone through all the questions. I found my deep fake video, so let me throw that on, and then we'll answer some final questions, and we'll call it a night. So hold on a second. I'm gonna do this. And wait, you know what? Hold on.
Artificial.
All right. Hold on a second. I just gotta change something. Oh, well, actually, I don't even need to change it. I can just do this. There we go.
Intelligence algorithms are one of the most incredible things that human beings have created so far. I mean, they enable us to do amazing things, like become anyone we want to be. Like Robert De Niro, for instance, a famous actor I've always admired. Taxi, The Godfather, classics, right? Or Brad Pitt. He played some really interesting roles. Fight Club, Benjamin Button, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I just watched that one. And this face, I mean, who wouldn't want to be Brad Pitt for a day? Of course, there's Joe Rogan. So yeah, AI and digital algorithms are really cool. But there's something else about these big tech algorithms that's far more sinister. If you're an internet business owner, big tech companies like Facebook use algorithms to filter your content so that even the people that asked to see your content don't get to. And if you're running ads on their platform, these algorithms are currently driving your ad costs through the roof.
I want to see you take
which, if you're an internet business owner, really sucks. And in case you haven't noticed, Google has officially forgotten their rule about don't be evil. I mean, check out this chart. In a nutshell, what it amounts to is Google is now scraping everyone's website and stealing their content so they can put it at the top of the Google search result page. That way, they never leave the walled-in garden of Google and actually go to the website of the person who actually created the content itself. I guess Google's logic is, who cares about all the time and energy that website owners put into the content on their sites? Let's just take their content and use it for our site. And of course, if you're an internet business in e-commerce, then I don't even have to tell you about AI and algorithms.
It doesn't even look like
you deal with them every day. Because Amazon has the most powerful AI going. They know what.
Right. When you have his face, you just got to talk shit about SpaceX.
Yeah. Just gotta, well, you don't have to talk about shit about anything when you got that kind of money, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so someone wanted to know what software did we use to make that. That was done over a year and a half ago. So there really was no software. We actually hired like a AI guy, and we got a ton of time on Amazon servers, and they created that for us, like, however they do it, but I'm not that technically proficient. It's definitely not Reface. I use Reface like to mess around like with my girlfriend, and I send her like silly deep fakes, but yeah, that was a little bit more sophisticated than that. So it looks like we had a lot of people say they're gonna be on the webinar. So that's awesome. That was the primary purpose, to just introduce you guys to something that you should know about, to introduce you to Rob Jones and the insane success that they're having with this program, and to urge each and every one of you to get on YouTube as soon as you possibly can. There's never been a better time to be on YouTube than right at this minute, right? It's like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. It would have been better to get on yesterday. The second best time is right now. And you should definitely be on that webinar. So anything as we wrap this up, Rob, anything you want to add?
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is a lot of fun, and your audience is great.
Yeah, it was fun. We still got quite a few people on, which is awesome, and double the amount of people on YouTube. It was Facebook, which makes sense. We don't get numbers from LinkedIn for some strange reason, but I know there are people watching on LinkedIn as well. And so I want to wish everyone a great night. It is Thursday night, and so that means that the next time a live stream will happen on my behalf is on Tuesday, and I will be out in San Diego on Tuesday. I'll be at Traffic and Conversion that week. I'll also be speaking at the Mimosa Mastermind on Sunday, the day before Traffic and Conversion starts. And I was invited to speak at Traffic and Conversion, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to be chilling. So if you want to see me speak, I'll be at Amber's thing, the Mimosa Mastermind. But I think that's all I'm doing, other than hanging out. And if you're a Steel Our Winner subscriber and you see me, please come by and say hi. I would love to talk to each and every one of you, or if you're watch these live streams. Yeah, that's all I got. So, Rob, thanks for sharing the stage with me. I am super excited about getting a lot of our clients onto that webinar to see what this is all about. And so just thanks for making the time for us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Sun's coming up here. It's early morning, so I'm going to grab some breakfast. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. So
yeah, so why don't you tell people where you are?
Oh, I'm in Bali.
And how long have you been in Bali?
For about 5 or 6 years now.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California, in
so
Bay Area.
What precipitated the move to Bali?
A breakup. And then I wanted to travel, and then I ended up in Bali, and there's a great sort of entrepreneurs community here. And so yeah, it's been very enjoyable. It's like if you want to pick any place to be stuck during a lockdown phase in the world, this is a good place to do it. So
very cool. And Rick, I will get back to you tomorrow. I'm talking to Jay Abraham tonight at 10:30. So yeah, I'll get back to you tomorrow. That was one of the last comments. So yeah, awesome, man. Well, I'm very jealous that you live in Bali. I've never been there, but I assume it's beautiful. At least it sounds beautiful, and everything I've ever heard about it. And yeah, maybe do you ever get to the States?
Occasionally, I'll just go for family reunions. We do a family reunion every other year.
And how's things been with COVID there?
In Bali, I mean, you don't really see it. It hasn't been that. I mean, they talk about it on the news and stuff, but it's basically like a tourist island. But with the pandemic, tourism is, it's the same island with less traffic and with less crowds. So it's been fine for me.
Yeah,
you just wear masks everywhere.
Yeah, got it. Cool. Well, speak soon. It's been really nice sharing the stage with you, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
You too. Have a great one. Thank you.
Bye.